Hey guys, tonight we're diving into the tale of the fates weaving threads even Zeus can't sever. Plus, you'll learn what ancient wool smells like when it's on fire. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is for you. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You find yourself standing on the edge of an ancient forest where the air is heavy with the scent of cedar, and the crackle of the evening's first hearth fire echoes in your ears. The world feels older here, older than you've ever known, like you're wading through a time when the gods still whispered in the wind and mortals carved prayers into stone. A thin mist clings to the ground, curling around your ankles with a chill that seems to seep into your bones. And there, in the center of a clearing, you see it a loom that looks as if it's been here since the first heartbeat of the world itself. The loom's wood is dark polished by countless centuries of hands spinning and weaving, yet it hums with a quiet power that doesn't seem to come from mortal hands. Threads of every color and texture, imaginable silk as bright as a summer dawn wool, the shade of midnight storm's rough flax that smells faintly of the earth are wrapped around it in dizzying patterns. And perched on small three-legged stools, hunched yet dignified, are three women who look as ancient as the loom itself. These are the fates Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. Their names taste like thunderclouds and honey on your tongue. Clotho spins the thread of life, her fingers never pausing, never faltering, even as the weight of entire kingdoms seems to hang from each strand. Lachesis measures, pulling the thread out in careful lengths, her eyes glinting with a mischief that suggests she might slip in an extra inch or two or snatch one back without a second thought. And Atropos. Atropos is the quiet one, but she holds the shears, and she alone decides when a thread has reached its end. The soft whisper of their loom fills the clearing, punctuated only by the occasional snap of a thread, giving way to Atropos's shears. It's a sound that makes your skin prickle, a reminder that no matter how grand your plans, or how loud your laughter, it all comes down to a thread that these three sisters hold. You'd think that the mighty Zeus, the king of the gods, would be above such things. After all, he's got thunderbolts to throw and storms to command. But even Zeus, with his silver beard and his chest as broad as the sky, can't change what's been woven here. He's learned that the hard way, like the time he tried to sweet-talk Clotho with a basket of ambrosia-soaked figs, and she just kept spinning, ignoring his flattery, as if he were nothing more than a noisy wind. Historians still argue whether the loom was older than Olympus itself, or if it was a mortal invention given divine purpose. Some say the loom was a gift from Nyx, goddess of the night, so that even the brightest stars would one day dim and fade. Others claim it was born when the first mortal drew breath for what is life without an end, what is love without the possibility of loss. The loom hums regardless of who gave it shape, and the threads keep coming, each one a mortal, a god, a fleeting dream. Tonight you watch the sisters work their movements, almost hypnotic. You can smell the raw wool, earthy, pungent, a scent that clings to the back of your throat, like a secret you're not sure you should keep. The air is warm near the loom, though the world around you shivers in the cold. You wonder if the loom itself is alive, its breath rising and falling with each thread that finds its way into the sisters' hands. In the distance you hear the low, mournful cry of an owl, a creature of the night that knows the weight of secrets. The sound is a lullaby, and a warning both. You remember that crocodile dung sunscreen I mentioned once? Well, let's just say that in the ancient world, mortals would try anything to keep fate's loom at bay, including questionable sun protection. Yet no matter what potions or prayers they conjured, the loom never paused. It didn't care about mortal tricks or divine tantrums. It only cared about balance and the quiet inevitability of an end. As the sisters work, you feel the forest settle around you, the world folding in like a blanket. You can almost see your own thread glimmering in the half-light, thin and trembling. You reach out curious, maybe a little afraid, and wonder what color your thread would be. Maybe it's the bright red of a sunrise, or maybe it's the deep blue of the sea at midnight, that cold endlessness that never seems to end. You're just one of 1,000 threads, each a story, each a song. The sisters don't look up as you watch. They don't need to. They've seen every face, every flicker of hope, every desperate prayer that mortals whisper when they think no one else is listening. Their hands move in a rhythm older than language, a dance that began long before your first breath and will go on long after your last sigh. You wonder if Zeus himself feels that same chill when he visits this clearing, if even the king of the gods shivers at the sound of Atropos' shears, because there's a kind of finality here that no thunderbolt can undo. A thread cut is a life ended, and even Olympus has to bow to that truth. The night deepens, the forest growing darker, and the loom's song weaves through your bones like a lullaby. You can feel your heartbeat slowing your breathing, softening as if the sisters are weaving you into the tapestry itself. You're not just a watcher anymore. You're part of the story, one more thread in the endless cloth that stretches from the first dawn to the last dusk. You'll meet kings and warriors, soon mortals and gods, who dared to test the loom's power. But for now, just listen to the gentle hush of the threads, the quiet click of shears, and let the darkness settle over your shoulders like a lover's sigh. Because tonight you're safe here, if only for as long as your thread allows. The loom's gentle creak and the sisters' quiet murmurs fade into the night, but the story only grows deeper as you trudge along a winding forest path. Shadows flicker at the edge of your vision, and each footstep feels like it's guided by an invisible hand. You're not alone, of course, not in a world woven by threads and the breath of the fates themselves. You pause at a clearing where a single olive tree stands gnarled and ancient, its roots twisting through the earth like a map of all the lives it has shaded. Beneath its branches, the sisters sit their forms, both timeless and strangely fragile, in the glow of a flickering lamp. They don't look at you, why would they? They're too busy tending to the tapestry of existence itself. Clotho the youngest is all quick fingers and darting eyes. She spins the threads of life from nothing, her spindle never idle. If you squint, you can see the glint of starlight in her hair, as if the sky itself offered her its dust to weave. She hums softly an old melody that tastes like rain and fresh bread, grounding the ethereal hum of the loom. Beside her, Lachesis measures each thread's length with an expression that's both amused and resigned, like she's seen every trick in the book and knows exactly how each one ends. Her measuring rod flashes in the lamplight, and you can't help but think she'd make a terrifying tailor, precise, unsparing, but oddly kind in the way she balances the threads. And then there's Atropos. She says little, her presence is enough. Her shears glint with a light all their own, polished to a cold gleam that catches the reflection of the world. One snip and a thread is done, a life snuffed out as quickly as a candle in a storm. The fates have always been here. Older than the Olympians, older than the sun's first climb over the horizon. Some historians still argue whether they're older even than chaos itself, that primeval darkness from which everything else was born. It's a debate that never ends, like the threads themselves, because there's no scroll in any dusty library that can answer the question for sure. But there's no arguing with the fact that they're here now, their hands moving in a dance that shapes everything from the smallest child's breath to the rise and fall of empires. Even Zeus, with all his thunderous might, can't command them. You remember that fact, and it gives you a thrill that's part fear, part wonder. Clotho glances your way just for a moment. Her eyes are the color of storm clouds, and you feel like she sees straight through to your marrow. She smiles faintly, like she's amused by your presence, like she's seen 1,000 mortals before you, and she'll see 1,000 more before dawn. Her spindle hums a sound that burrows deep into your chest until you swear you can feel your own thread spinning out in her hands. Not even the mightiest can cut their own thread, she says softly, and you wonder if she's speaking to you or to herself. Or maybe to Zeus, who tried once to sway her with honeyed words and the promise of endless feasts. But Clotho isn't swayed by nectar or thunder. Her fingers keep spinning. Lachesis chuckles her laughter as dry as summer straw. And he tries, oh, he tries, she says, shaking her head. He's always trying to measure what we refuse to show him. Atropos doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. Her shears flash once, and you see a thread fall away, drifting down to the forest floor like a single pale feather. You shiver, but there's no malice in her gesture. It's just fate. Cold, unfeeling, but also oddly gentle in the way it lets you go. The sister's loom isn't just a tool, it's a map of every breath that's ever been drawn, and every dream that's ever been dreamt. The threads shimmer and twist, a living tapestry that glows with the colors of heartbreak and hope. It's a comfort in a strange way, knowing that even the gods must bow to this weave. You hear the distant sound of a lyre carried on the night wind, a melody that makes your heart ache. Maybe it's Orpheus himself singing to the stars and to the fates who wove his love story into the loom's endless threads. Historians still argue whether Orpheus truly charmed the sisters with his song, or if they let him believe he did. After all, it's easier to let mortals dream than to explain that nothing can change the cut of the shears. Your breath fogs in the cold air, and you notice the scent of smoldering wool, sweet, smoky, with a hint of char that clings to your senses. It's the smell of the loom's work threads, sometimes burned away as quickly as they're spun. You wonder if your thread will end like that abrupt final, a wisp of smoke in the dark. But you're not afraid. There's a quiet power in knowing that no one, not even Zeus, can bend the fates to his will. You feel it in the way Clotho hums, in the way Lachesis measures without judgment, in the way Atropos's shears gleam like moonlight. There's freedom in that inevitability, a relief in knowing that you're part of something so much bigger than yourself. The sisters keep weaving, and the night deepens around you. A shooting star streaks across the sky, just another bright thread in the loom's endless dance. You let out a slow breath, the cold night air tasting like iron and old promises. You're starting to understand why even the gods come to this place, why even thunder and lightning can't shake the sisters' calm. Because here, in this clearing beneath the olive tree, everything is both fleeting and eternal. The loom's song is a lullaby for the cosmos, and you're just one note in its endless refrain. So you stand quietly watching the threads dance in the lamplight and let the loom's quiet rhythm carry you deeper into the story. You'll meet warriors and queens soon enough, each of them bound to the threads they can't escape. But for now, you're content to listen, to breathe, and to remember even the mightiest gods must bow to the sisters who weave. The night air grows cooler as the sisters continue their silent work, the faint clack of the loom sounding almost like the beat of your own heart. You feel as if you've been standing here for centuries, a ghost in the forest watching the fates do what no mortal or immortal can stop. And somewhere in the distance, thunder rumbles, a low, distant growl that makes the leaves shiver. You know that sound. It's the echo of Zeus himself pacing the halls of Olympus, with a worry he rarely allows himself to show. For once, the mighty king of the gods is anxious, and it all comes down to these three sisters and their unbreakable threads. Zeus, with his sky-splitting thunderbolts and his regal beard that would put any mortal patriarch to shame, has always been a creature of control. He commands the clouds, the rain, the crackle of lightning that dances across the sky like a war drum. But here, in the forest glade where the sisters work, none of that power means anything. His thunderbolts might light up the heavens, but they're useless against the glint of Atropos's shears. You watch him approach, an imposing figure broad-shouldered and crowned with the faint glow of stormlight. His sandals crush the grass, and the night seems to hold its breath as he draws near. Even the owl falls silent, sensing the weight of what's to come. He doesn't speak right away. Zeus, for all his pride, knows better than to interrupt the rhythm of the loom. He stands just at the edge of the clearing, a figure caught between worlds, 1 foot in the thunder clouds, 1 foot in the quiet eternity of the sisters' domain. Clotho doesn't look up from her spindle, though the corners of her mouth twitch in what might be amusement. Lachesis, her measuring rod tapping out an ancient beat, spares him a glance, her eyes glimmering with that same mischievous light. And Atropos. Atropos doesn't even blink. Her shears remain poised, ready a promise and a threat in one. Even the king of Olympus has come to watch us tonight. Lachesis says lightly, her voice soft, but carrying the weight of centuries. What brings you here, Lord of Thunder? Zeus's voice is as deep as the storm clouds, but there's an edge to it, a crack in the marble, a note of worry that only the sisters can draw from him. I've come to see. To understand, he says, and you can almost see the strain in his shoulders as he forces himself to speak plainly. Historians still argue whether Zeus truly feared the sisters or simply respected them. Some say it was the only time the great king of Olympus ever bowed his head, the only time he accepted that there were forces even he couldn't master. Others insist he was always plotting, always trying to find a way to snip his own thread, or twist the loom to his will. But here, in the hush of the forest, you see it plain, even Zeus can't command destiny. Clotho's fingers don't pause. The threads do not care for Thunder Lord Zeus, she says gently. They dance to their own song, and you cannot change the tune. Zeus's jaw tightens, the glow of stormlight in his eyes flickering. I have seen empires rise and fall, he says, his voice low. I have watched mortals burn their cities to the ground for glory, and I have blessed them with the rain to rebuild. But this is beyond me. He glances at Atropos, and for a moment, even if he'd never admit it, there's something like fear in his gaze, because Atropos doesn't answer him. She doesn't need to. Her shears gleam in the moonlight, and that's all the answer there is. You wonder what Zeus sees in the threads. Does he see his own fate shimmering there in the loom's dance? Does he see the day when even he will be nothing but a story told in the crackle of thunder? The air smells of rain now, that sharp, clean scent that always comes before a storm. You feel it on your skin, cool and electric, as if the sky itself is watching. But the sisters don't pause, don't even glance up. To them, Zeus is just another thread, bright and bold, but a thread all the same. Lachesis measures her rod, tracing out the length of a life that will one day end. You cannot bargain with us, Lord Zeus, she says, her tone almost kind. The threads must run their course. Zeus's shoulders slump just a little, and you see it the moment he realizes there are no bargains here. No honeyed words, no whispered prayers, no thunderous commands. The sisters hold the loom, and he is just another story they'll weave into the cloth. And still Clotho spins. Her spindle hums, each twist of her fingers a promise and a curse. You watch the threads dance in the lamplight, and you wonder what color is Zeus's thread. Is it the pale blue of the sky at dawn, or the black of the storm's heart? The night grows deeper, and you feel the weight of it in your bones. You're not just a spectator anymore. You're part of this tapestry, a single thread in the endless weave. You stand beside Zeus, feeling the chill of the night and the quiet certainty of the loom. You hear a soft sigh from Atropos, the only sound she makes, and it sends a shiver down your spine. Because that sigh, it's the sigh of inevitability, of endings that come whether you're ready or not. It's the sigh of a world that keeps spinning even as the gods themselves must bow to the sisters' shears. Zeus turns away, then his shoulders heavy with the knowledge that even he can't change what's woven here. He disappears into the night, his thunderbolts quiet for once, leaving only the soft glow of the lamp and the steady rhythm of the loom behind. You stand there a moment longer, listening to the gentle clack of the loom, the rustle of the olive leaves, and the quiet breath of the sisters as they weave. You're not sure if you're comforted or terrified, but you know this: even the mightiest must yield to the quiet power of fate. And so the loom hums on, and you follow its song deeper into the night, where kings and warriors, mortals and gods will learn that the threads they cherish can't be cut by mortal hands. The night settles deeper around you, thick with the scent of damp earth and old pine. You keep walking, though there's no path but the one your feet find in the darkness. The threads of the fates stretch on, and tonight you'll follow them one gentle step at a time. Beyond the olive tree, the forest opens up to a quiet field. The grass here is short and dry, and there's a hush to the place that feels ancient, as if even the birds know not to sing. And in this soft silence, the story of mortal kings and their threads unfolds. Each one spun and measured, each one snipped when the time was right. You find yourself thinking of Agamemnon, the proud king who led the Greeks to Troy. His name is heavy, echoing with war and sacrifice, but here in the hush of the night, it's just another thread. You watch it in the loom's gentle glow, a red thread maybe bright as a battle banner or a flickering hearth fire. Agamemnon believed his fate was his to command. He believed that bronze and blood would bend the world to his will. But the sisters knew better, and so did the threads they wove for him. His thread was strong, yes, but it was not endless. No mortal's thread ever is. You watch as Lachesis measures the thread, her fingers tracing each inch with quiet care. Historians still argue whether Agamemnon's death was the will of the gods, or just the final snip of Atropos' shears. Was it the wrath of a wife scorned, or the cold certainty of a thread that had reached its end? It's a debate that drifts through dusty libraries and moonlit nights, but here in the clearing with the loom, the answer is simple. It was always meant to be. Clotho spins without pause, her spindle whirring in the night air. The sound is soft, almost hypnotic, like the rustle of pages in an old book. You feel your eyelids grow heavy, lulled by the steady motion, the gentle promise that every thread has its time. There's something comforting about it, isn't there? The idea that even the greatest kings are just threads in a tapestry that stretches beyond what you can see. Agamemnon's bronze helm might have shone in the sun, but here beneath the stars, it's just another shimmer in the cloth. You shift your weight, feeling the cool grass beneath your feet. The earth smells of moss and rain, and you let that scent ground you as the story weaves on. You remember that odd little detail. Did you know that in ancient Greece, they used to believe that wool carried the scent of the sheep's soul? It's a strange thought, and you wonder if the sisters can smell the soul in the threads they spin. Lachesis glances up at you for a moment, her eyes soft with a kindness that feels almost maternal. Every king must yield to the loom, she murmurs, and her voice is like a lullaby. No matter how grand his hall, no matter how bright his shield. And so Agamemnon's thread finds its end, snipped by Atropos, with a quiet finality that makes the night seem even softer. The loom's rhythm doesn't falter, though there are always more threads, more stories to tell. And you feel yourself swaying a little, as if the loom's song is a cradle rocking you to sleep. The world around you fades, the forest and the field melting into a gentle haze. You're not sure if you're awake or dreaming, but it doesn't matter. The sisters keep weaving, and that's enough. You think of all the kings who have walked this earth, each of them sure they could outwit fate, each of them humbled in the end. There's a kind of peace in that, a quiet relief, that even the most powerful must one day rest. You let that thought settle into your bones, a soft weight that makes your shoulders sag and your breath deepen. The loom's gentle clack fills your ears, and you let it wash over you like the softest rain. A shooting star slips across the sky, a silver thread in the dark. You watch it fade, and you know that the sisters have already measured its light and cut it free. Even stars must yield to the loom. The night is calm now, the air cool and still. The loom's glow flickers, and you feel yourself drifting, carried by the soft hum of the threads. You're just another thread after all, one among so many, each one precious in its own quiet way. So you let the loom's rhythm carry you deeper into sleep, your breath matching its gentle song. There will be more kings and warriors to meet, more threads to follow, but for now, you're content to rest here in the hush of the loom's embrace, because even the mightiest kings must sleep, and tonight you're safe in the sisters' quiet weaving. The night air smells of cedar and cold dew, and your footsteps are as soft as the whisper of the loom. You move slowly now, the hush of the world wrapping around you like a blanket. Ahead, the loom's glow beckons you onward, a soft golden promise of more stories waiting to be told. You find yourself in a small clearing where the grass is worn away in a wide circle, as if countless feet have paced there for generations. In the center stands Ares, the god of war, his armor dull in the lamplight. He shifts restlessly, the point of his spear tapping the ground like a heartbeat. Ares is used to victory. He's used to the hot rush of battle, the clash of bronze, and the smell of blood. But here, under the sisters' watchful eyes, he's just another thread, bright and crimson, but still bound to the loom. You can see it in the way his shoulders tense, in the flicker of doubt that crosses his proud features. The sisters pay him no more mind than they did Agamemnon. Clotho's spindle hums the threads of mortals and gods alike dancing in her fingers. Lachesis measures with quiet precision her rod, tracing out the length of Ares' glory. And Atropos. She waits, her shears glinting in the soft light, patient as the stars. Historians still argue whether Ares' defeats were written in the loom from the start, or if they were the price he paid for his own arrogance. Some say his thread was spun with iron in its heart, strong but heavy, doomed to rust and snap. Others whisper that the sisters wove his fate in secret, laughing softly as they set the pattern of his falls. You watch as Ares paces his spear's tip, leaving small marks in the earth. There's no clamor of war here, no bright banners or ringing shields, just the soft night air and the quiet certainty of the loom. Ares shifts his weight, the muscles in his arms flexing with barely contained frustration. He's a god of action, not patience, and here patience is all that matters. You can almost hear his thoughts, can almost feel the heat of his anger as he realizes he can't fight the threads that bind him. The loom doesn't care how many battles he's won or how many kingdoms have fallen beneath his spear. It cares only that every thread has its end, and that even a god of war can't outfight the sisters' shears. There's a small, almost tender smile on Lachesis' face as she measures Ares' thread. "You've burned so brightly," she says, her voice like the brush of linen sheets. "But even the brightest flames must cool." Ares says nothing, but his knuckles whiten around his spear. You wonder if he remembers each of his defeats, each time a mortal soldier struck him down, each time the loom's threads tangled around his feet. The smell of bronze and old leather clings to him, a memory of battles long past. You remember that odd little detail. Did you know that some warriors in ancient times would smear their armor with olive oil, hoping it would protect them from the blade? It was a small act of defiance, a hope that something as simple as oil could change the pattern of the loom. But here you see how futile it is. The sisters don't care about oil or steel or prayers. They care only for the rhythm of the loom and the gentle snip of Atropos' shears. Ares lets out a slow breath, the sound of it almost a sigh. He knows you realize. He knows that no spear can cut what the sisters have spun. The night air tastes of rain and old promises, and you feel the weight of that knowledge settle over you like a soft cloak. Clotho's spindle hums on, and you watch the threads twist and dance in the lamplight. Each one a life, a story, a promise, waiting to be fulfilled or broken. Ares' thread glows faintly red in the weave, a bright pulse of glory and violence. But even that pulse will one day fade. The forest is still around you, the only sound, the soft murmur of the loom. You feel your own breath slow, matching the gentle rhythm of Clotho's spinning. The loom's song is a lullaby, now soft and insistent, and you let it carry you deeper into the night. Ares stands a moment longer, his spear at his side. He looks at the sisters, his eyes hard but resigned. And then he turns, disappearing into the darkness like a ghost of war, leaving only the hush of the clearing and the soft glow of the threads. You're left alone with the sisters and their quiet work. The loom's song weaves around you, each thread a note in the endless music of the world. You feel yourself drifting, your eyelids heavy, the scent of the night sweet and clean. Because even the god of war must rest, and tonight, so must you. You feel the forest shift around you, the hush of the night folding in closer. The path you walk now is lit only by the soft glow of the loom and the moonlight slipping through the ancient trees. Each step is slow, your feet sinking into the soft earth as the air grows cooler, thicker with the scent of pine and the faint sweetness of crushed herbs. In the distance you see a figure, a woman, her hair the color of summer wheat, her eyes bright with a kind of desperate hope. This is Ariadne, the princess of Crete, whose fate was tied to a single slender thread. You remember her story? The labyrinth, the Minotaur, and the thread that led Theseus out of the dark? Ariadne's thread was spun from longing and cleverness, a thread that wound through stone walls and shifting shadows. You see it in the loom's glow, now pale gold shimmering like the dawn. Clotho's spindle hums softly, the thread unwinding in her hands as Lachesis measures its length with careful fingers. Ariadne's story has always been a favorite of historians, though they still argue whether she was a pawn in the gods' games or the weaver of her own destiny. Some say she was a trickster in her own right, as clever as any hero, while others whisper that she was just another piece in the tapestry of fate, her choices already woven into the cloth before she was born. You watch as Ariadne stands at the edge of the loom's glow, her hands twisting together, her breath catching in her throat. The night around her is hushed, the only sound the quiet click of Atropos's shears, as she waits patient as always. Ariadne's thread was her salvation and her curse. She gave it to Theseus, a gift of trust and hope, and in return, he promised her the world. But promises are as fragile as threads, and you can see how the sisters wove heartbreak into the pattern from the start. Theseus took her thread and walked the labyrinth, his steps steady and sure. He faced the Minotaur with a sword and a prayer, and the sisters watched their fingers, never pausing. The labyrinth was a twisting maze of stone and shadow, but Ariadne's thread led him out, each step a heartbeat, each turn a breath. And yet, when the Minotaur lay dead and the labyrinth's walls fell silent, Theseus turned away. Historians still argue, why was it the weight of destiny or the fickle nature of mortal hearts? Did he see the thread as a burden once it had served its purpose? Or was he always meant to leave her behind? Ariadne waits now in the hush of the loom's clearing, her eyes bright with the memory of that golden thread. The loom's glow flickers on her skin, soft and warm, and you can almost feel the weight of her longing. Her thread glows brighter for a moment, a shimmer of hope that lingers even as Atropos raises her shears. Clotho hums softly, a melody older than the sea, and you find yourself swaying to the gentle rhythm. The loom's song is slow and patient, each note a promise that no thread is wasted, no story forgotten. You remember that odd little tidbit? Did you know that in some ancient festivals, they would weave golden threads into their hair as a symbol of hope and fortune? A small act of faith, a way to carry a little bit of the sisters' power with them. You wonder if Ariadne ever wove such threads into her braids, hoping to catch a sliver of the loom's mercy. The night air smells of rain and rosemary, and you breathe it in slow and deep. You watch as Ariadne steps closer to the loom, her hand outstretched, her fingers brushing the threads with a tenderness that makes your chest ache. She's not a queen here, or a lover. Scorned, she's just another soul caught in the dance of the loom. Atropos's shears gleam in the moonlight, and for a moment you think you hear the softest sigh from the oldest sister. A sigh of sorrow, maybe, or of understanding. The shears close, and Ariadne's thread shivers just for an instant before it falls away, like a petal in the wind. The loom doesn't pause. Clotho's spindle keeps spinning, Lachesis measures another length, and the song goes on. But Ariadne is gone from the clearing now, her thread woven into the tapestry of the world, her story, a soft echo in the night. You feel the weight of that echo, the quiet finality of a thread cut, and the gentle promise that every end is just another beginning. The loom's rhythm slows each creak and sigh a lullaby for the weary, and you feel yourself drifting your breath deep and steady. Because tonight, even the heartbreak of a princess becomes part of the loom's endless dance, a dance that carries you further into the night. Each step, a story, each breath, a thread. The soft murmur of the loom seems to weave its way into your mind, each gentle creak, another breath in the dark. You keep walking, the hush of the night wrapping around you like the coziest of blankets. The forest seems to hold its breath as you come to the next tale spun in the sisters' gentle hands, a tale of Hera, queen of the gods. Hera stands at the edge of the clearing, her robes a deep blue that seems to drink in the moonlight. She is regal as always, her spine straight and her eyes sharp. But there's something else tonight, a flicker of fear she tries to hide behind her pride. You see it in the way she holds her hands clasped tight, in the way her breath catches when Atropos's shears flash in the soft glow of the loom. Hera, queen of Olympus, goddess of marriage and hearth. But even she must bow to the quiet power of the sisters. She watches them with a gaze that could shatter mountains, yet the sisters don't flinch. Clotho's spindle keeps spinning, each thread another heartbeat in the night. Lachesis measures her fingers, steady and sure, and Atropos waits patient as a winter dawn. Historians still argue whether Hera feared the sisters because of her own thread, or because she saw how even the strongest bonds of love could not sway their shears. Some say she tried to outwit them with honeyed words and whispered prayers, while others insist she simply watched, learning the rhythm of the loom, like a melody only she could hear. You watch as she steps closer, her breath shallow, her regal composure cracking just a little. She tries to speak, but the words falter. What can a queen say to the weavers of destiny? She has known power, yes, but this is older, deeper, and even her golden crown seems to dim in the loom's glow. Lachesis glances up at her, and there's a softness in her gaze that takes you by surprise. Even the bonds of love must yield to the threads, she says, her voice a whisper that seems to echo in the hush of the night. No vow, no oath can change what we have measured. Hera's jaw tightens, her lips pressed thin. You can see the defiance there, the queenly pride that has kept her standing through storms and betrayals. But you also see the fear, the quiet understanding that even she cannot unweave the tapestry the sisters have crafted. You remember a curious detail. Did you know that in ancient times, newlyweds would offer small tokens of wool at the temple of Hera, hoping the goddess would weave blessings into their future? A quiet plea for kindness from the queen of the hearth. But here, in the hush of the clearing, even Hera's wool offerings cannot sway the sisters' hands. Clotho's spindle hums on each turn, another step in the dance of the world. The loom glows softly, threads shimmering in the lamplight, and you watch as Hera's thread glimmers faintly gold, a thread spun from the laughter of wedding feasts and the tears of lovers' quarrels. Hera reaches out her fingers, brushing the loom, and for a moment she looks so terribly human, caught between the pride of a goddess and the quiet terror of an ending she cannot control. Her breath shivers in the cold night air, and you feel your own heart slow to match the gentle rhythm of the loom. Atropos's shears gleam in the soft light, and you see the queen's shoulders tense. But Atropos does not cut, not yet. Hera's thread still runs its course, and the sisters' song hums on as patient and endless as the stars. You feel the weight of that patience settle into your bones, a soft comfort that eases the tightness in your chest. The loom's song is slow, steady, and you let it rock you gently, your breath soft and warm in the night. Hera steps back from the loom, her chin lifting, the queenly pride settling back into place. She knows she cannot change what is woven, but she will face it with the quiet strength that has carried her through countless storms. She turns away the night, swallowing her up, leaving only the soft glow of the threads behind. You stand alone with the sisters again, the air around you heavy with the scent of moss and moonlight. The loom's rhythm is a cradle now, each creak, another heartbeat in the night. You feel your eyelids growing heavy, your thoughts soft and drifting, as if the threads themselves are weaving you into the tapestry. Because tonight even the queen of the gods must yield to the loom's gentle command, and so must you. Let the soft murmur of the threads carry you deeper into sleep, where every breath is a promise, and every heartbeat is a thread in the endless cloth of dreams. The night stretches on soft and deep as a velvet sky. You feel your footsteps slow the earth cool beneath your feet, and the loom's gentle song weaving through your thoughts. The clearing ahead is hushed, the glow of the loom flickering like a heartbeat in the darkness. You see another figure there, Odysseus, the cunning king of Ithaca, known for his cleverness and his endless wandering. His eyes are sharp, his mind as quick as the sea winds, and yet here in the hush of the loom, even his wits can't change what the sisters have spun. Odysseus stands tall, his cloak wrapped tight against the chill, but you can see the restlessness in the set of his shoulders. He's a man who has tricked gods and monsters, who has stared into the eyes of sirens and lived to tell the tale. But the loom's glow catches in his eyes, and you see the flicker of doubt there, a question he's never been able to answer. Clotho's spindle hums softly, each thread a breath of the world. Lachesis measures with a patient precision that seems to weigh each choice Odysseus has made, each lie he has told, and each oath he has broken. And Atropos. Atropos watches with the calm of someone who has seen every trick before. Historians still argue whether Odysseus's thread was spun with more twists than most, or if he simply found the path he was always meant to walk. Some say his cunning was a gift from the loom itself, a way for the sisters to keep their weaving lively. Others insist that every clever lie was just another knot in the pattern one he could never hope to untangle. Odysseus watches the loom, his brow furrowed, his fingers flexing at his sides. You see the gears of his mind turning, the endless search for the angle, the loophole, the clever word that might save him from the shears. But here, in the hush of the night, there are no riddles to solve, only the quiet certainty of the loom's steady song. You remember that odd little tidbit? Did you know that some ancient sailors believed tying knots in their ropes could capture the wind itself, giving them the power to tame the sea? A small act of hope, a charm against the wild heart of the waves. You wonder if Odysseus ever tied such knots, his fingers moving with the same deftness he used to weave lies and tales. Lachesis measures his thread with a thoughtful expression, her rod tracing the path of his journey from Troy to Ithaca and every shore in between. Even the cleverest man cannot change what is measured, she says softly, her voice carrying the gentle weight of the loom's song. Odysseus doesn't argue, though. You can see the temptation in his eyes. He stands quietly, the night air cool against his skin, and for once, he doesn't try to bargain or plead. There's a calm acceptance in the way his shoulders settle, as if he's finally made peace with the path the sisters have woven for him. Clotho's spindle spins on the threads, glimmering in the soft light. You watch as Odysseus's thread twists and turns, each loop a tale of cunning and courage, of laughter and heartbreak. It's a beautiful thread complex and bright, the color of the deep sea at dawn. Atropos raises her shears, but she doesn't cut. Not yet. Odysseus still has miles to sail storms, to weather stories to tell. The loom's song hums on a promise that every twist has its place, every journey its quiet end. The forest around you is still the air sweet with the scent of pine and the faint tang of salt. You feel the weight of the loom's song settle into your bones, a gentle cradle that eases the restless ache in your chest. The loom's rhythm is slow, steady, and you let it rock you gently, your breath deep and calm. Odysseus turns away from the loom, his steps quiet in the hush of the night. He's a man of stories, but even he knows when to be silent. The threads wait for no one, not even the cleverest king, and he walks away with a quiet dignity that seems to glow in the moonlight. You stand alone in the clearing, the loom's glow soft and warm around you. The sisters' hands move in a dance older than the sea, each thread a story, each breath a promise. You feel your eyelids grow heavy, your thoughts drifting like the tide, and you let the gentle song of the loom carry you deeper into the night. Because tonight, even the most cunning wanderer must rest, and so must you. Let the loom's quiet rhythm soothe you, each gentle creak, a lullaby, each thread a promise that you are part of something vast and patient and kind. The night grows deeper still, the hush of the forest settling around you like a warm blanket. The loom's glow is a soft promise in the darkness, each flicker of lamplight a gentle heartbeat. You follow its rhythm, your footsteps slow and careful, the cool earth beneath your feet a comfort as the loom's song weaves on. Ahead, the quiet murmur of voices, low and calm like the hush of waves on a distant shore. You come to a clearing lit by a small fire, the glow of embers warm against the night's chill. Spartan mothers sit in a circle there, their eyes bright with the calm certainty of those who have seen the loom's dance and do not flinch. They wear simple cloaks, the wool rough but warm, and their hands rest gently on their knees. In their eyes you see the quiet strength of those who have sent sons to war, and watch them march away with shields gleaming in the dawn. The loom's song hums softly through the clearing, weaving their stories into the tapestry of the world. One of the mothers lifts her gaze to you, her smile small but certain. "Return with your shield or on it," she says, her voice steady as stone. It's an old Spartan saying, one that carried the weight of both pride and the quiet acceptance of fate. In those few words you hear the loom's song, a promise that even glory must bow to the quiet cut of Atropos's shears. Historians still argue whether this fierce devotion to fate was born from the loom's gentle command or the hard lessons of war. Some say the Spartan mothers whispered prayers to the sisters, asking only for a death worthy of a warrior's thread. Others believe it was the loom itself that wove such fierce hearts, each thread spun from the same quiet steel. You watch as Clotho's spindle spins, each thread shimmering in the firelight. The mothers do not flinch when Atropos's shears flash, because they know, as you now know, that every thread must end, and that there is no shame in that ending. A mother reaches down to the fire, lifting a small bundle of wool dyed the red of the setting sun. She holds it for a moment, feeling the warmth of the embers in her hands, then sets it gently into the flames. The wool catches curling and blackening, the scent of burnt wool filling the air with a softness that feels almost sacred. You remember that odd tidbit. Did you know that Spartan warriors believed their cloaks held not just warmth, but the weight of their city's pride? Each thread a promise, each weave a quiet prayer. And tonight you see that promise flicker in the fire's glow, a soft ember of something older than any city wall. Lachesis measures each thread with calm patience, her rod moving in the gentle rhythm of the loom's song. The mothers watch her work, their faces serene, their eyes unclouded by fear. They know the measure of a warrior's life is not in its length, but in the quiet certainty of its end. The night air smells of smoke and wild rosemary. The fires glow, painting the mothers' faces in soft gold. You feel your breath deep in your thoughts, slowing to match the loom's gentle song. Each creak of the loom is a lullaby, each sigh of the night a soft reminder that you are not alone in the darkness. The mothers speak in quiet tones, sharing stories of sons and husbands, of battles fought, and homes kept warm against the chill. Their voices weave together in the hush of the night, a soft chorus that matches the loom's patient song. You watch as one mother lifts her hand to the sky, her fingers tracing the path of the stars. The loom weaves us all, she whispers, and her words settle into your bones like a gentle balm. The loom's rhythm rocks you, each thread a promise that you are part of something endless and kind. Atropos's shears glint in the firelight, but the mothers do not flinch. They know the shears are not cruel. They are only the quiet certainty of the loom's song, the soft end to each bright thread. You feel that certainty settle into your chest, a weight that is somehow comforting, like the steady beat of a sleeping heart. The fire crackles softly, the scent of the night sweet and clean. You feel your eyelids grow heavy, your thoughts soft and slow. The loom's song hums through the clearing, a cradle for the weary, a gentle promise that even the fiercest hearts must rest. Because tonight, even the mothers who send their sons to war must yield to the quiet power of the loom. And so must you. Let the loom's soft song carry you deeper into sleep, where each thread is a promise and each breath a quiet prayer. The loom's song lingers in your mind like the gentle hush of rain on old stone. You move softly now, your steps muffled by the thick moss beneath your feet, each breath a quiet echo in the night. The path curves gently ahead, and the loom's soft glow draws you onward, another tale waiting to be woven in the sisters' patient hands. In this clearing, the air is filled with the faint scent of laurel and the cold tang of distant thunder. Here stands the Oracle of Delphi, a figure shrouded in whispers and mystery. Her robes are pale as moonlight, her eyes heavy with visions that flicker like candlelight in the dark. The oracle's gaze is steady, unblinking, and you can almost hear the soft rustle of the laurel leaves she wears in her hair. She is the voice of Apollo, the keeper of riddles and secrets, but even her words cannot escape the gentle pull of the loom. Clotho's spindle hums, each thread shimmering like the silver trails of snails in the moonlight. Lachesis measures with calm care, her rod tracing the path of the oracle's words, each prophecy a bright line in the endless tapestry. And Atropos. Atropos waits, as always, her shears glinting like the first frost of winter. Historians still argue whether the oracle's visions were truly glimpses of the loom, or just echoes of mortal fear. Some say the sisters themselves whispered in the oracle's ear, each prophecy a soft echo of the loom's steady song. Others believe the oracle saw only the shadows of the threads, hints of the pattern, but never the full weave. You watch as the oracle closes her eyes, her lips moving in a murmur too soft to catch. The air around her shivers, the scent of laurel and cold stone rising like a promise. She speaks of kings and empires, of love and betrayal, her voice a thread that winds through the darkness. A small smile tugs at Lachesis' lips as she listens, her eyes bright with a quiet amusement. She sees the shape of the threads, but not their ends. She says softly, and her voice settles into the hush of the night like a lullaby. No one sees the whole tapestry, not even the voice of Apollo. The oracle's breath shivers in the cool night air, her hands trembling just slightly. You wonder what she sees if the loom's threads flicker in her mind like starlight, or if she only hears the echo of the sisters' song. There is a weight in her gaze, a quiet sorrow that seems to know how every thread must end. You remember that odd tidbit. Did you know that the oracle's laurel leaves were said to grant visions of the future, a small charm of green hope against the dark weight of fate? But here, in the hush of the clearing, even laurel leaves can't change the gentle pull of the loom. The air grows cooler, a soft breath of winter on your cheek, and you feel the loom's song slow each note a cradle for your thoughts. The oracle speaks again, her voice soft and sure, her words weaving through the night like a silver thread. Atropos's shears glint softly, but they stay at her side. The oracle's thread is not yet ready to be cut, and the sisters' song hums on, patient and kind. You watch the threads dance in the lamplight, each one a life, a dream, a quiet prayer that drifts into the darkness. The oracle's eyes flicker open, and for a moment they meet yours. In that gaze, you see the weight of 1,000 threads, the gentle promise that every question has its answer in the loom's soft song. Her lips curve in the faintest smile, and then she turns away, her breath quiet as the night. The loom's glow flickers each thread, a soft pulse of life in the darkness. You feel your own breath slow, your thoughts soft and gentle, as if the loom's song has woven you into its endless dance. The scent of laurel and cold stone lingers in the air, a quiet promise that even the secrets of the oracle must yield to the gentle pull of the loom. Because tonight, even the voice of prophecy is just another thread in the endless tapestry. Let the loom's quiet rhythm soothe you, each creak a soft sigh, each breath a promise that you are held in the sisters' patient hands. The forest seems to lean in closer now, its breath slow and deep, as if the trees themselves are listening to the loom's quiet song. You follow that gentle hum, the soft pulse of the threads guiding your steps deeper into the night. The path is smooth here, the earth worn by the quiet footsteps of 1,000 dreams. In the soft glow of the loom, you see a new story waiting to be woven, a story of love and loss of mortal hearts, caught in the sisters' endless dance. The air smells of night-blooming flowers, their sweetness drifting on the breeze like a promise. You see Paris and Helen, their fingers intertwined as they stand in the loom's gentle light. Their love is a bright thread in the tapestry, shimmering like the first blush of dawn on a still lake. But there's a tremor in the way their hands grip each other, a silent knowledge that even the softest touch cannot change the rhythm of the loom. Clotho spins their thread with a tenderness that seems to slow the very air around you. Each twist of her spindle is a heartbeat, each sigh of the night, a soft echo of the loom's song. Lachesis measures carefully her rod, tracing the fragile path of their love, each stolen glance, each whispered vow. Historians still argue whether Paris and Helen's story was written in the stars or woven from the wild threads of mortal desire. Some say the sisters laughed as they spun their fate, amused by the way love can blind even the clearest eyes. Others believe that every kiss, every secret smile was already there in the loom waiting to be revealed. You watch as Paris lifts Helen's hand to his lips, his breath warm against her skin. In that soft moment, you see the weight of their thread, the sweetness of first love, the bitter tang of what must come after. The loom's glow flickers on their faces, soft and warm, and, for a moment, they are the only two souls in the world. You remember that curious detail. Did you know that in ancient times, lovers would carve their names into olive trees as a promise of forever? A small act of faith, a way to leave their mark in the world. But here, in the hush of the clearing, you see how even the deepest carving can't hold back the quiet snip of Atropos's shears. Lachesis's eyes are soft as she measures their thread, her fingers moving with the quiet certainty of the loom's song. Even the brightest love must yield to the threads, she murmurs, her voice gentle as a lullaby. No vow, no stolen kiss can change the pattern we have woven. Helen leans into Paris, her breath a soft sigh in the cool night air. She knows, as you now know, that every story has its end, every thread its quiet cut. But there is a sweetness in that knowledge, too, a soft comfort in knowing that even fleeting love is held in the loom's gentle hands. Atropos's shears glint softly in the lamplight, but she does not move. Paris and Helen's thread is not yet ready to be cut, and the loom's song hums on, weaving their love into the endless tapestry. You feel the loom's rhythm slow, each creak, a soft cradle for your thoughts. The air is cool and sweet, and you let that quiet lull you, each breath a step deeper into the night. The loom's song is a gentle hush now, each thread a soft promise that even the fiercest love must yield to the slow patience of the sisters. Paris presses his forehead to Helen's, their eyes closed, their breath shared in the soft darkness. The loom's glow flickers around them, and you see it clearly, the beauty of their thread, the way it glimmers even in the face of its end. Because tonight, even the brightest love is just another note in the loom's endless song. Let that quiet rhythm carry you deeper into sleep, each sigh of the loom, a promise that you are held safe and small in the sisters' patient weaving. The loom's song weaves around you like the softest blanket, the hush of the night, deep and patient as a mother's breath. You follow its glow, each step a slow waltz in the darkness, the threads of the world singing low and sweet in your bones. The clearing ahead is cool and calm, the scent of laurel and sweet myrrh drifting on the breeze. And there, beneath the olive tree that seems to have grown from the bones of the earth itself, you see Zeus, king of the gods. His cloak is silver, his brow creased with the weight of the sky, but tonight he is no thunder-wielding tyrant. He is just another thread in the loom's quiet dance. Zeus moves softly, his sandals silent on the moss. His shoulders are broad, his beard silver as moonlight, but there is an uncertainty in the way he holds himself, a flicker of doubt in his storm cloud eyes. Even the king of Olympus must bow his head here, where the loom's song hushes every boast and brag. Clotho's spindle spins each thread another beat in the night's slow rhythm. Lachesis measures with gentle care, her rod tracing the path of 1,000 dawns and dusks. And Atropos waits her shears, glinting like a winter star, her gaze as calm as the sea at dawn. Zeus watches them with a quiet that seems to echo through the trees. He has commanded armies of thunder, he has bent the world to his will, but here, in the hush of the clearing, he cannot change what the sisters have woven. He leans in close to Clotho, his voice low, the hush of a storm that has learned how to beg. Tell me, he says, his voice softer than you ever imagined it could be. Tell me what the threads hold for me. Clotho does not look up her fingers, never pausing. You cannot see your own thread, Lord Zeus, she says gently, her voice the rustle of leaves in the dark. You can only trust that we have spun it true. Historians still argue whether Zeus truly believed in the sisters' weaving, or if he only came here to feel the quiet certainty of the loom's song. Some say he feared the shears, as he never feared a mortal blade, while others insist he simply sought a glimpse of his own ending. But here, in the hush of the night, you see it clearly. Even the greatest of gods must wonder where the thread will end. You remember that curious detail, did you know that in ancient festivals, they would pour honey and milk on the ground as offerings to the fates, a sweet, quiet bribe to the sisters' patient hands. But tonight, you see how no offering can change what the loom has already sung. Zeus stands a moment longer, his shoulders heavy with the weight of the sky. Lachesis measures another thread. Her fingers steady, her eyes soft. The threads do not bend to thunder, she says, her voice low and sure. They dance to their own song. Atropos's shears flash once, but they do not cut. Zeus's thread is long yet woven with the light of 1,000 storms and the gentle hush of the world at dawn. The loom's song hums on slow and patient, each thread a breath in the darkness. Zeus closes his eyes, and for a moment he is just another soul in the hush of the night. The weight of his thunderbolts falls away, and he stands as a man quiet and small beneath the endless tapestry of the loom. You see the relief in his face, the quiet surrender to something older and kinder than even his power. The night smells of earth and rain, the loom's song a lullaby that wraps around your thoughts. You feel your own breath slow your heart, matching the gentle rhythm of the loom's patient hum. Each creak of the spindle is a cradle for your thoughts, each sigh of the night a promise that you are part of something vast and gentle. Zeus steps back from the loom, his face calm, his breath steady. He knows he cannot change what has been woven, and there is peace in that surrender. He turns away, his footsteps silent in the moss, leaving only the loom's soft glow and the sisters' patient weaving behind. Because tonight, even the king of Olympus must listen to the quiet song of the loom, and so must you. Let the hush of the threads carry you deeper into sleep, each breath a step deeper into dreams where every thread is a promise, and every ending is a gentle sigh. The night feels older now, the hush of the forest deep and full of memories. The loom's glow shimmers like the last ember of a dying fire, and you let its gentle song guide you deeper into the clearing. Here, in the soft cradle of moonlight and shadow, you come to the tale of the Trojan War, a tale spun from the threads of glory and doom. The air is cool, and the scent of olive wood smoke drifts around you, a soft reminder of hearth fires and home. In the glow of the loom, you see the figures of Achilles and Hector, two bright threads in the endless tapestry. Their eyes meet across the clearing, the hush of the night, a soft echo of the clash that once shook the walls of Troy. Clotho's spindle spins without pause, the threads of heroes and kings winding through her fingers like rivers of light. Lachesis measures each length with a calm that seems to slow the very air, her rod tracing the bright paths of destiny and the quiet spaces where courage flickers and fades. And Atropos. Atropos waits her shears, glinting softly, patient as the breath of the earth. Historians still argue whether the Trojan War was fated by the sisters or forged in the heat of mortal pride. Some say the loom spun every clash of spear and shield, while others believe the war was a song of mortal voices, loud and bright, but never beyond the shears. Here in the hush of the night, you see the truth. Every hero's thread was measured from the first, each bright moment already woven into the cloth. Achilles stands tall in the loom's light, his armor a soft gleam of bronze, his eyes bright with the fire of youth. His thread shimmers red as the first light of dawn, and you see in it the glories he will claim and the quiet end that waits for him. Beside him, Hector's thread glows softly gold, the color of harvest wheat, and the quiet courage of those who stand for home. You watch as Lachesis measures their threads, her fingers gentle as she weighs each choice, each battle. Glory and doom dance together, she murmurs her voice, the hush of the night itself. No thread shines without the quiet shadow that follows. The loom's glow flickers each thread a heartbeat in the dark. You remember that odd little detail. Did you know that warriors in ancient times would wash their armor in river water, hoping the river's calm would carry them safely through the storm? A small act of hope against the quiet certainty of the loom. But here, in the hush of the clearing, you see how even the river must yield to the slow patience of the threads. Achilles lifts his spear, the light of the loom catching in its point, and for a moment the hush of the clearing shivers with the weight of his pride. Hector stands steady, his breath calm, the quiet strength of a man who knows the loom has already measured his end. Atropos's shears glint, but they do not yet cut. The battle of Troy is still to come, the bright dance of shield and spear yet to play out in the sisters' song. The loom's rhythm hums on patient and kind, weaving each step of the war into the endless cloth of the world. You feel the hush of the loom settle into your chest, each breath a soft echo of the spindle's gentle hum. The night is cool and sweet, the scent of olive smoke, a lullaby that weaves around your thoughts. You watch the threads shimmer in the glow, each one a promise, each one a quiet prayer. Achilles and Hector turn away from the loom, their faces calm in the soft darkness. They know, as you now know, that the loom has already measured their fate. And in that quiet knowledge there is a kind of peace, a gentle comfort in knowing that even glory and doom must bow to the slow dance of the sisters' hands. The loom's song hums on a cradle for the weary, a promise that every thread finds its place in the end. You feel your eyelids grow heavy, your breath slow and deep, and you let the gentle rhythm carry you deeper into sleep. Because tonight, even the greatest of heroes must yield to the quiet power of the loom. Let its soft song rock you gently, each creak of the spindle a whisper of comfort, each sigh of the night a promise that you are held in the patient hands of the sisters weaving. The night holds its breath as you drift deeper into the story, the loom's song a quiet hum that echoes in your bones. The air is soft, the earth cool beneath your feet, and you let the gentle glow of the loom guide you onward. Here in the hush of the clearing, you come to the tale of mortal rebellion of Prometheus and the fire he stole. The clearing smells of smoke and distant thunder, a scent that curls around you like an old memory. In the loom's glow you see Prometheus, his eyes bright with defiance, his hands still warm from the fire he dared to steal from the gods. He stands tall, his shoulders set the quiet weight of the world's hope burning in his gaze. Clotho's spindle spins on each thread a breath of the night, each twist a promise that no act of rebellion goes unnoticed by the sisters' patient weaving. Lachesis measures carefully her rod, tracing the bright spark of Prometheus's gift and the long shadow it cast over the world. And Atropos waits her shears, quiet in her lap, the final end not yet called. Historians still argue whether Prometheus's rebellion was fated by the loom or forged by the fire of his own will. Some say the sisters wove his defiance into the pattern of the world from the start, while others insist he was a wild note in the loom's calm song, a bright, defiant thread that could not be measured. But here, in the hush of the clearing, you see how even the wildest threads must find their place. Prometheus lifts his hand, the stolen fire still flickering in his palm. The light of it catches in the loom's glow, and for a moment you see how that fire was never truly his. It was always part of the loom's endless dance, a bright note in the quiet hum of the world. Lachesis measures with a soft sigh, her eyes kind as she traces the path of Prometheus's thread. Every gift has its price, she says, her voice gentle as the night. Even fire must bow to the loom. You remember that curious detail, did you know that in some ancient tales, the hearth fire was tended by every family as a quiet shrine to Prometheus? A soft flicker of thanks for the gift that warmed their homes. But here, in the hush of the clearing, you see how even the warmest hearth must yield to the loom's patient song. Prometheus stands still in the loom's light, his breath slow, his gaze calm. He knows the cost of his gift, the weight of punishment and the quiet certainty of the shears. Yet he does not flinch. His thread glows bright red as the embers he stole, and you see the quiet pride in the way he holds himself. Atropos's shears glint softly, but they do not cut. Prometheus's thread is not yet finished, his defiance not yet done. The loom's song hums on a cradle for every spark of rebellion, every breath of hope in the darkness. The night smells of warm earth and old smoke, the hush of the loom, a gentle balm against the cool air, You feel your own breath slow your thoughts soft and drifting as if the loom's song has woven you into its gentle dance. Each creak of the spindle is a promise. Each sigh of the night a soft lullaby that carries you deeper into sleep. Prometheus turns away from the loom, his shoulders square, the quiet strength of one who knows his place in the pattern. He is not a god here, nor a mortal. He is a thread, bright and defiant, woven into the endless cloth of the world. Because tonight, even the brightest spark must rest in the loom's patient song. Let its quiet rhythm soothe you, each gentle breath, a step deeper into dreams where every thread is held and every story is part of the sisters' gentle weaving. The night deepens the stars above, flickering like tiny threads in the vast tapestry of the sky. You walk slowly, each step soft and patient, the loom's glow, a gentle beacon in the hush of the forest. The air is cool and clean, carrying the scent of old earth and the quiet promise of rain. Here, in this stillness, you come to the story of the day, the threads nearly slipped from the sisters' patient hands. The clearing feels different tonight, a shiver in the air, a faint crackle of something that does not belong. The loom's song is softer here, almost uncertain, and you feel your breath catch in your throat. In the glow of the lamplight, you see the threads trembling, each one shivering in the night air like a note that has lost its place in the song. The sisters sit quietly, their eyes bright in the lamplight. Clotho's spindle still spins, but her fingers move with a careful slowness, as if the thread might slip away if she hurries. Lachesis measures with gentle hands, her brow furrowed in concentration. And Atropos. Atropos waits her shears poised, but still the weight of choice heavy in the hush. Historians still argue whether this was a moment of mortal defiance, or the quiet slip of the loom's eternal song. Some say it was a day when the gods themselves tried to wrest the threads from the sisters' fingers, while others believe it was a quiet tremor in the pattern, a reminder that even the endless weaving can waver. But here, in the hush of the clearing, you see how close the threads came to slipping away. The night smells of damp earth and old leaves, the hush so deep you can hear the soft hum of your own breath. The loom's threads flicker in the lamplight, each one a heartbeat, each one a soft sigh in the darkness. You see the figure of a mortal there, his face pale with fear and wonder. He reaches out his fingers, trembling as he touches a single thread, a thread that glows faintly gold as if lit from within. His touch is light, a soft question in the quiet, but the thread shivers in his hand, and the loom's song falters for just a moment. Clotho's eyes meet his, and there is no anger there, only a quiet sadness. The threads must never be pulled, she says, her voice the hush of falling snow. They dance to their own song, and no hand can guide them but ours. The mortal steps back, his breath ragged, and you see the quiet terror in his eyes. He has touched something older than the world, something that cannot be changed by mortal hands. He bows his head, the night closing in around him, and the loom's song begins again, soft, patient, but a little older, a little wiser for the tremor that passed through its weave. You remember that curious detail, did you know that in some ancient tales, the Fates' loom was said to hum with the breath of every soul, a soft murmur of life that never pauses even when the world itself seems to hold its breath. Tonight you hear that hum in your bones, a quiet lullaby that weaves around your heart. Lachesis measures the trembling thread with careful hands, her rod moving slowly each inch, a promise of patience and gentle certainty. The loom's glow flickers softly, and you feel your own breath slow to match its gentle rhythm. Atropos's shears remain still, the final cut not yet called. The loom's song weaves on a cradle for every fear, every quiet hope that flickers in the darkness. You feel the threads settle again, the hush of the night, a balm against the tremor in your chest. The mortal steps back into the darkness, his face calm now, his breath steady. He knows what you know, that the threads will always find their place in the loom's patient song, no matter how the world trembles. The loom's rhythm hums on a promise that every thread is held, every story part of the sisters' quiet weaving. Because tonight even the strongest storms must bow to the slow dance of the loom. Let its gentle song carry you deeper into sleep, each breath a soft promise that you are part of something endless and kind, woven into the patient hush of the world's gentle dance. The hush of the night wraps around you like the softest blanket, the loom's glow, a small steady light in the darkness. You walk softly, the cool earth cradling your steps each breath, a slow sigh as the loom's song weaves its gentle rhythm around your heart. Here, in the quiet cradle of the clearing, you come to the story of empires, the bright rise and the quiet fall, each one a thread in the sisters' endless dance. The air smells of old earth and distant seas, a soft memory of far-off shores, and the quiet weight of history. In the loom's glow, you see the threads of empires shimmering like rivers of light, each one bright with promise, each one measured with patient hands. Clotho's spindle spins without pause, each thread a quiet promise of what might be. Lachesis measures with careful eyes her rod moving in the slow, patient rhythm of the loom's song. And Atropos waits her shears, a soft gleam in the darkness, the quiet certainty of an ending yet to come. You see the thread of Rome there, bright as the noonday sun, woven through with the glint of bronze and the laughter of crowded streets. It shimmers with the promise of conquest of law and roads that stretch like veins across the world. But even the brightest empire must bow to the loom's gentle command, and you see in its glow the quiet fray of years, the slow unraveling that no sword can stop. Historians still argue whether Rome's fall was a single cut of Atropos's shears or a slow, patient loosening of the weave. Some say it was hubris that snapped the thread, while others believe it was the quiet weight of time, the gentle sigh of a world grown too heavy for its own dreams. But here, in the hush of the clearing, you see how every empire's thread is measured, woven bright, and cut in its time. The night is cool, the scent of laurel and stone heavy in the air. You feel the hush of the loom settle into your bones, each breath a slow echo of its gentle hum. The loom's glow flickers each thread a soft promise, each end a quiet sigh that fades into the dark. You remember that curious detail, did you know that the Romans believed the hearth fire was the heart of the empire, a small flicker of the world's breath? Each home tended its flame, a tiny echo of the fires that burned in Rome's marble halls. But here, in the hush of the clearing, you see how even the brightest hearth must yield to the loom's soft snip. Lachesis measures the thread of Rome with calm care, her eyes soft with the weight of centuries. Empires rise and fall, she says, her voice the hush of waves on distant shores. Each thread woven bright, each cut in its time. You watch as the thread of Rome shimmers in the loom's glow, bright and proud, yet trembling at the edge of Atropos's shears. The loom's song is a quiet cradle for the dreams of emperors and the laughter of children who played in marble courtyards. You feel your own breath slow your thoughts soft and drifting as the loom's gentle rhythm rocks you deeper into sleep. Atropos's shears remain still, the cut not yet come. The loom's song hums on a soft promise that every empire finds its place in the tapestry. Each bright rise and quiet fall, a note in the endless music of the world. The night deepens around you, the stars bright above each one, a tiny echo of the loom's patient song. You feel your eyelids grow heavy, your breath matching the quiet pulse of the loom's glow. The hush of the clearing wraps around you, a soft promise that every thread is held, every dream woven into the gentle cloth of the night, because tonight even the greatest empires must yield to the quiet dance of the loom. Let its soft song carry you deeper into sleep, each breath a gentle promise that you are part of something older and kinder than any kingdom held in the patient hands of the sisters' endless weaving. The night grows still, the hush of the forest deeper than breath, and you walk softly in the glow of the loom. The gentle song of the threads wraps around you like a lullaby, each step slow and easy, the cool earth beneath your feet, a soft cradle for your thoughts. Here in the quiet of the clearing, you come to the moment when Zeus himself stands before the sisters, his own thread trembling in the hush. The air smells of rain and distant thunder, a faint memory of storms held tight in the night's calm. Zeus stands tall in the loom's glow, his silver beard catching the light, his shoulders broad beneath the weight of the sky. He is the king of Olympus, the lord of storms, but here in the soft breath of the loom, he is just another soul caught in the sisters' patient song. Clotho's spindle spins slow and sure, each thread a whisper in the darkness. Lachesis measures with gentle care, her rod tracing the bright line of Zeus's thread, each inch a breath of power and promise. And Atropos. Atropos waits her shears, a quiet promise in the hush, the final cut held in her calm hands. Zeus steps closer, his eyes bright with the light of lightning, but there is no thunder in his voice tonight. He stands silent, the hush of the loom holding him close, and you see the quiet weight in his gaze. He has commanded the storms, called the lightning from the sky, but here he must bow to the gentle song of the threads. Historians still argue whether Zeus came to plead or to understand, whether the king of the gods sought to bargain with the sisters, or simply to stand in the hush and see the shape of his own end. Some say he tried to snatch the shears from Atropos's calm hands, while others believe he simply bowed his head and let the loom's soft song wash over him. But here, in the quiet glow of the threads, you see the truth even the mightiest must yield to the sisters' patient weaving. You remember that curious detail, did you know, that in ancient festivals, they would weave bright threads into wreaths of laurel for Zeus, a small act of honor to the king of the sky. But here, in the hush of the clearing, no crown of laurel can change what the loom has already sung. Lachesis measures Zeus's thread with quiet care, her eyes soft with the weight of the world. You have held the sky, she says, her voice, the hush of the night, but even the sky must bow to the loom. Her words are gentle, each syllable a soft cradle for the weight of storms and lightning. Zeus does not argue. He stands silent, his breath slow, and even the glow of the loom soft on his face. There is a quiet acceptance there, a calm surrender to the patient song of the threads. The loom's glow flickers, each thread a soft promise that every power, every storm finds its place in the tapestry. Atropos lifts her shears, their edges glinting in the lamplight, but they do not close. Zeus's thread still hums in the hush bright as the first flash of lightning in a summer sky. The loom's song weaves on slow and patient, each note a cradle for the breath of the world. You feel your own breath slow to match that rhythm, the hush of the night wrapping around you like the gentlest sigh. The loom's glow is soft and warm, each thread a quiet promise that every story finds its end in time. The air is cool and sweet, the scent of rain and old earth, a soft comfort against the weight of the night. Zeus steps back from the loom, his head bowed, his breath, a soft exhale in the quiet. He knows, as you now know, that even the greatest must bow to the loom's patient weaving. The hush of the forest deepens the gentle song of the threads, a cradle for every hope, every quiet end. Because tonight even the king of Olympus must yield to the slow dance of the loom. Let its soft song carry you deeper into sleep, each breath a promise that you are held in the gentle cradle of the sisters' endless weaving. The night is soft and still, the loom's gentle glow a warm cradle for your thoughts. You walk slowly now, each step a quiet promise, the hush of the forest around you like the slow sigh of the earth. The loom's song weaves through the darkness, a lullaby that carries you deeper into dreams. Ahead in the clearing's gentle light, you see mortals kneeling, men and women with their heads bowed, their breath slow and steady. They whisper prayers to the sisters, their voices low and soft, each word a quiet plea that drifts like smoke in the hush. You see the weight of their hope in the curve of their shoulders, the quiet ache in the way they press their hands together. Clotho's spindle spins without pause, each thread a promise woven from breath and dream. Lachesis measures with calm patience, her rod tracing the shape of each mortal's prayer, each whispered wish caught in the loom's gentle song. And Atropos waits her shears resting in her lap, the soft finality of endings held quiet in her patient hands. Historians still argue whether these mortal prayers are heard by the sisters, or if they simply fade like morning mist in the sun. Some say the sisters weave the prayers into the threads, each word, another note in the quiet song of the loom. Others believe the prayers are only for the mortals themselves, a small comfort against the endless hush of fate. But here in the soft glow of the clearing, you see how every breath, every quiet plea finds its place in the gentle cradle of the loom. The night smells of fresh earth and crushed herbs, a scent that settles deep in your lungs, each breath a soft sigh that carries you deeper into sleep. You watch as the mortals bow their heads, their lips moving in silent prayers, their eyes bright with the gentle hope that even the sisters' patient shears might be stayed by a word spoken from the heart. You remember that odd little detail. Did you know that in some ancient rites, mortals would tie tiny knots in scraps of thread as offerings to the fates? Each knot a quiet prayer, a small hope that their thread might run a little longer, a little brighter. But here, in the hush of the clearing, you see how even the softest plea is woven into the loom's gentle song. Lachesis measures with soft care, her eyes kind, as she listens to the mortal's prayers. Every thread is heard, she says, her voice, the quiet hush of leaves in the night. No word is wasted, no breath unheard in the loom's patient song. The mortals lift their heads, their eyes bright in the soft glow of the loom. There is no fear there, only a quiet acceptance, a gentle trust that their threads will find their place in the tapestry. The loom's glow flickers softly, each thread a small light in the darkness, each breath a promise that every prayer is part of something endless and kind. Atropos' shears glint in the lamplight, but they do not close. The prayers hum in the hush, a soft chorus that weaves through the night like the slow sigh of the world. The loom's song cradles those quiet hopes, each thread another note in the endless music of the sisters' weaving. You feel your own breath slow your eyelids heavy, the hush of the loom wrapping around you like a gentle embrace. The night is soft and patient, the scent of earth and herbs a balm against the quiet weight of the world. You let the loom's rhythm rock you deeper into sleep, each breath a soft promise that you are held in the gentle cradle of the sisters' endless weaving. Because tonight, even the quietest prayer finds its place in the loom's gentle hum. Let the soft song of the threads carry you deeper into dreams where every breath is a promise and every prayer a soft echo in the sisters' patient song. The night feels like a soft sigh, the hush of the forest deep and slow around you. The loom's glow flickers softly, each thread a small light in the darkness, and you walk slowly now, your breath matching the gentle rhythm of its song. Here, in the quiet of the clearing, you come to the final hush of Zeus's own acceptance, the gentle surrender of even the king of the gods, to the patient weaving of the sisters' hands. Zeus stands at the edge of the clearing, his head bowed, the weight of the sky still resting on his broad shoulders. His breath is slow, each exhale a small cloud in the cool night air. The loom's glow paints his silver beard in soft gold, and you see the quiet in his eyes, the calm of one who knows that even thunder must yield to the slow dance of the loom. Clotho's spindle spins without pause, each thread a quiet breath in the darkness. Lachesis measures with gentle hands, her rod moving in the slow rhythm of the loom's song. And Atropos. Atropos waits her shears resting lightly in her lap, the soft promise of endings held in the patient hush of the night. Zeus lifts his eyes to the loom, his gaze calm and quiet. "I have held the storms," he says softly, his voice, the low rumble of distant thunder. "I have called the lightning and commanded the sky. But here in this hush, I see how even the mightiest must bow to the slow song of the threads." Historians still argue whether this was the first moment Zeus truly surrendered, or if he had always known deep in his heart that the loom was older than thunder, older than the first spark of lightning in the world. Some say he saw his end woven there bright and final and simply chose to let it be. Others insist he found comfort in the sisters' quiet, weaving the gentle promise that even the king of the gods has a place in the endless tapestry. But here, in the soft glow of the loom, you see the peace in his eyes, the quiet surrender of power to the hush of the night. You remember that curious detail, did you know, that in some ancient stories, Zeus himself offered prayers to the sisters, a small act of humility from the king of the sky. A soft offering of honey and milk, a promise that even thunder can be gentle in the face of the loom's quiet song. Lachesis measures the length of his thread with careful hands, her eyes kind and patient. "Every storm finds its end," she says softly, her voice the hush of rain on marble. "Every thread its quiet place in the cloth." Zeus bows his head, the weight of the sky held quiet in his shoulders. The loom's glow flickers the threads, humming softly in the hush, and you feel the slow calm of it settle into your bones. The loom's song is a cradle for every breath, every sigh, each thread another note in the gentle music of the night. Atropos lifts her shears, but still they do not close. Zeus's thread hums in the hush, bright and quiet, woven into the endless dance of the sisters' hands. The night is still the scent of laurel and old earth, a balm against the weight of the world. Zeus steps back from the loom, his breath slow, his eyes soft. He has no more thunder in him tonight, only the quiet peace of one who knows he is part of something endless and kind. The loom's song hums on the gentle rhythm of the world's breath, and you feel your own thoughts slow to match its calm. Because tonight, even the king of the gods must bow to the patient weaving of the loom. Let its soft glow carry you deeper into sleep, each breath a quiet promise that you are held in the hush of the sisters' endless song. The night feels endless now, the hush of the forest soft as the first breath of morning. The loom's glow is a gentle cradle, each flicker of light a promise that even the longest night finds its gentle dawn. You stand in the clearing, the hush deep around you, and you feel the quiet weight of the sisters' song settle into your bones. Clotho's spindle spins slow and sure, each thread a soft echo in the hush. Lachesis measures with calm hands, her rod moving with a patient grace that seems to slow the very breath of the world. And Atropos. Atropos lifts her shears at last, her eyes calm and kind, the quiet weight of every ending held in her gentle hands. You watch as the threads shimmer in the loom's glow, each one a story, a promise, a quiet sigh in the darkness. The loom's song is slow and soft now, a lullaby for the world, each note, a cradle for every breath, every dream. The mortals kneel in the hush, their heads bowed, their breath slow and calm. The gods stand silent, Their shoulders bowed the hush of the loom, holding even the bright weight of Olympus in its gentle hands. The night is soft around you, the scent of earth and laurel a balm for every weary heart. Atropos lifts her shears, and the glow of the loom flickers softly, each thread a soft sigh in the hush. She snips the threads one by one each, cut a quiet promise that every story finds its place in the end. There is no fear in her hands, only the calm of a final note in a song that never ends. You remember that curious detail? Did you know that in some old tales, they said the loom's song could still be heard in the hush of midnight if you listened with a heart that was still and soft? Tonight you hear it in the gentle rustle of leaves, in the quiet sigh of your own breath, a lullaby that carries you deeper into dreams. The loom's song slows each note, a soft cradle for your thoughts. The night deepens the stars bright above, and you feel your eyelids grow heavy, the hush of the loom, a gentle weight against your skin. The air is cool and clean, the scent of laurel and crushed herbs, a quiet comfort in the darkness. The sisters' hands move slowly now, each thread a soft promise that every breath is held in the gentle cradle of the world. The loom's glow flickers one last time, a small bright promise in the hush of the night. The threads shimmer and settle, each one a part of something endless and kind. Because tonight, even the oldest threads find their place in the loom's gentle weave. Let its quiet song carry you deeper into sleep, each breath a soft promise that you are held safe and small in the patient hands of the sisters' endless weaving. The night sighs around you, the hush deep and soft, and you let your breath slow to match the quiet hum of the loom. The world fades around you, the loom's song a lullaby that rocks you deeper into dreams. Because tonight, every thread finds its place, and so do you. The night is soft now, the hush of the loom, a cradle for your thoughts. You feel your breath slow, your eyelids heavy, as the gentle song of the threads fades into the quiet hum of sleep. The glow of the loom grows dim, each flicker a final sigh of the night, and you let that hush wrap around you like the softest blanket. The forest is still the scent of laurel and cool earth, a gentle balm for your weary thoughts. The loom's song lingers in your mind, a soft promise that every breath is held, every story woven into the patient hush of the world. You let your thoughts drift, each one a small light in the darkness, each one a quiet promise that you are safe, you are warm, you are part of something endless and kind. The loom's glow fades to a soft memory, and you let that hush carry you deeper, each breath a step deeper into dreams. The night sighs around you, and you feel your breath match its quiet rhythm. Let the loom's song rock you gently, each creak a soft promise, each thread a final note in the endless music of the world. Sleep now, and let the sisters' gentle weaving cradle you in its quiet song. The night is patient, the loom is kind, and you are safe here, soft and small, in the hush of the loom's endless weaving.